Bonjour, je suis très contente pour inviter tous les participants pour ce webinaire Liberal Arts and Technology organisé par Kumaraguru College of Liberal Arts and Science avec 744 inscriptions, 744 registrations. It gives me immense pleasure to invite our speaker, Mr. ALEXIS Kittery. He's a versatile personality who has experience of 35 years at Orange. He transformed himself, being an art student, to a mobile network architect. Technology is very important in today's life. I would say our blackboards got transmuted into PPTs, and maintain silence as mute your mic. So now let's hear from ALEXIS Kittery, Monsieur, how liberal arts is going to be the secret to in this digitalized world. C'est à vous, Monsieur.
Merci, Magdalene. Hope you see my PPT.
Oui, Monsieur.
Let us start. First of all, I want to thank you, the management of Kumaraguru College of Liberal Arts and Sciences. And secondly, I thank you, Ms. Magdalene, for all your help that you've given me to make my PPT a presentable one. And also, I thank Mr. Marie-Pierre Augustin from Madurai Kamaraj University. He's a friend and a colleague. Well, before starting, I want to say a few words just to set the record correct. Exactly around 15 days back, Magdalene contacted me to give us to inviting me to share my professional experience with the students. Then I said that I sent my updated resume saying that I'm not working as an architect anymore for the from last year, and I told that in Orange, that is in France Telecom or in Orange, we have got a schemes. Before 3 years before the retirement, we have the possibility to work 50%, or we can go and work in any association. So I opted for that option, and I'm now working for the visually challenged people. in Paris. It's an association in Paris. So I'm working there for the past 1 year. And secondly, I have to say that there is a request from Magdalene saying that I can use here and there some few French words. So don't get surprised. Moreover, I want to add one more thing that I am not a public speaker, so I need my footnote. So I'll be referring to my notes here and there. So just bear it with me. So let us get started. Okay, who am I? I am 65, married, two children, two big children, young adults, living in the western suburb of Paris in a city called Maison Lafitte. Well, why I'm here? Because I am an alumni from Madurai Kamaraj University. First of all, I did my BA French in Pondicherry, and then I continued my MA French literature, French literature at Madurai University, Madurai Kamaraj University. And then I came to France to continue my studies. But somehow, instead of becoming a teacher, I became a IT professional. Because at that time, it was in the year 1980, it was in the vogue that everyone started learning IT programming and everything. Luckily for me, a friend of mine who was already working in that sector, he initiated me how to make programming, and somehow I got more interest than on IT than on literature, of course. And then I started doing my evening classes and so many other things. Finally, I got into Orange. I was got recruited like a programmer for billing IT applications. Then, then I became a national customer support for various IT applications. Then a technical correspondent for international customer support units. Then I became a manager for an international support services for sales and billing for IT applications in Orange Business Services. Till then, I was only in the IT. At the age of 52, I had a challenge. I got an offer from the Orange mobile network, and it was a completely a change for me because I know nothing in the mobile network, but the manager who recruited me gave me such encouragement, and I was appointed as a coordinator for the core network probes deployment in a field where I did not have any experience. But I accepted the challenge. Then later, I became a network architect for real-time probes on core network. Uh, I started in with the 3G environment. That it was in 2008. It was in 3G environment, and later, after 3 years, 4G has come, and before I leave, 5G has come because it's a very fast-moving domain, as you know very well. So this is my short story how I come to IT. But at the same time, have to share with you my views, my professional experiences, as well as they gave me a subject to cover, that is how can we connect liberal arts and technology. So I have just put it like this: what is liberal arts and how we can connect liberal arts and technology. And secondly, I want to give you some references and feedbacks from my colleagues. Thirdly, and if you have time, we can go for question and answers. What is liberal arts? In the 8th century BC, the Greeks coined the term liberal arts to define those subjects or skills that were considered essential for a free person to participate in civic life, including public debate, defending oneself in court, serving on juries, and most importantly, military service. If you see this definition, you can see it is it corresponds to an all-rounder. It is not just for a skill; it's an all-rounder, and moreover, is a socially, politically knowledge person. But in the 20th century, what it gives? In the 20th century, if you say liberal arts, it encompasses literature, geography, economy, psychology, political sciences, sociology, multimedia, fashion designing, graphic designing, and so many other things. So it is going to give a general knowledge rather than a specific skill to do a technical profession. It's not like in STEM degrees. When I say STEM degrees, it is science, technology, engineering, and maths. When I say STEM, it is only in the English term, not the French term, because in French term they call it STEM. STEM, they use science, technology, ingénierie, et médecine. So let us not mingle with that. So I stay with the English term STEM, scientific, technology, engineering, and maths. Okay, so there is a widespread notion that those who majored in liberal arts are not fit for the technical field. This is a public, I mean, it's a general notion. But I would say liberal arts giving us an ability to apply knowledge and skills in real world settings. It's a transferable skill. It's a transferable and practical skill. So I try to just find out what are the skills of liberal arts that we can excel with if we take liberal arts. For example, it gives writing, I mean, it gives a skill, more skill for writing, speaking, of course, foreign language and cross cultural knowledge. That comes very automatically and it is so natural. And there are a few more items that I wanted to emphasize, like research and information retrieval. Nowadays, when they say research and information retrieval, we can say that just looking into the Google and find anything you want. And more of it has become a jeu d'enfant today to find anything in Google or any search engine. It just becomes so easy. But in the professional world, the most of the important information that you need for your project are not going to be in Google. It is going to be sitting in the next table, perhaps. A colleague who's going to have this all the information, so you have to go and find it out. Whether it is a colleague or somewhere else, you have to go and find it out. So, especially in the professional world, it is you need to cultivate a cordial and honest relationship with the colleagues. Put aside your pride. If you don't know anything, just ask. Ask for assistance. Don't hesitate and sit in your corner. Secondly, I mean, there are other points I wanted to emphasize more than these things because, of course, you'll be getting all the skills in your school, in your college, but I wanted to insist numeracy, analytical thinking, creative thinking, effective with ambiguity, learning and synthesizing new ideas. I want to emphasize these things because these things you have to acquire proficiency, whatever may be the field you're going to take later. So, what is numeracy? Numeracy is as important as literacy. Use numbers and solve problems, having confidence and skill to use numbers, mathematical approaches in all aspects of life. If students do not know how to reason through a problem, the, the knowledge is useless. You can see, you can use reasoning to solve complex problems and then present their answers using the correct language. You know, it's not so magical. You have to, even if you remember let me, excuse me, that is coming again and again. Okay, even if you know your uh, simple arithmetic, it will be useful for you all over your life. Even while you're a literature student, you may use very much of logic. I would say logic and numeracy go hand in hand. Secondly, let us see what is analytical thinking. It's like a visual thinking. It involves a methodical step-by-step approach to thinking that allows you to break down complex problems into single and manageable components. That is more important. And moreover, the ability to gather relevant information from different sources, identifying cause effect relationships, and naturally to draw conclusions. Especially employers who are looking for employees, they want this kind of ability to those who can investigate a problem. They are not going to give you all the answers. It's up to you. It's up to you to find out all the information and try to derive the conclusion. So hiring managers, they look for candidates who are capable of using clear, logical steps and excellent judgment to understand an issue from all angles before executing an action. So let us see what is creative thinking. Creative thinking is all about analytical thinking with analytical thinking in problem solving, but also it involves a great amount of organization and a good level of expertise in communication. This is a plus point for all those who have majored in the liberal arts. Thirdly, dealing with ambiguity. Of course, these things, it all comes with experience and how comfortable you are. You can shift gears, can decide and act without having the total picture, and then to remain adaptable, flexible, comfortable with all uncertainty in a highly evolving environment. Wherever you are, whether you're in the first year or in the second year, all you have to find out is what kind of options you have. Of course, then you can start matching your skills to a particular industry. If you have teachers who can guide you, but bear it in mind, no one is going to tell you that this is your option. Final option is going to come from you. You're going to be the game changer of your life. So I just put some mnemonic of 3 words: BCM, bonding. Bonding is what? It's just a collage. It's whatever you acquire, the knowledge and everything, you have to put them together and connect the dots. That's it. It's a talent. It's a talent that you have to develop. And then there is a French word, they call it capitalisation de votre expérience. That is nothing but gathering knowledge. From the day one, you're going for an internship or for your first job or whatever maybe, you try to gather knowledge. You you make a track of it, you have a track of it, and then it's going to be used whether for you or even for a new recruit that you are going to uh, you train, for example. These are the things that you have to keep it in mind. Capitalisation de expérience. And then finally, meme. Meme is not what we are exchanging in WhatsApp. It is copying an idea from one brain to another. That is meme. So just remember this. I'll put all this PowerPoint, keeping in mind the liberal arts student. So if there are other people, just forget it. Don't take it into too much too serious. Perhaps you are well trained in your school. Okay. So secondly, okay, sorry. So when the invitation came from Magdalene, I visited the website of your college and your college curriculum and everything. It was so interesting. I said that it's a very nice school. And I visited also the students' magazine, such a diverse in your expressions, photography, paintings, and poetry, and so many other things. I say, bravo, students. I really like that. And then I saw the canvas, the curriculum, the college canvas, I would say. Sorry for the pronunciation. They say the first year you are making foundation for self-awareness, critical thinking, communication skills, and fundamental domain knowledge. And in the second year, you're going for exploration and then integration. I think that you're in the right place with Kumaraguru College. Uh, Here, I just wanted to just a schema, just to say what is contournable and what is not incontournable, what is essential. Just to say, I don't know how Coimbatore is. Just I took the image of Paris, the city of Paris. So here there are if you are coming to the airport, southern airport, if you have to go to the northern airport, there are so many other ways. You can pass through Paris, visit a museum, buy some do some shopping, and then go to the airport. Or you just take the ring road. There'll be a lot of traffic. You have to go there, or you can take the highway and go to the airport. There are so many other ways. But whatever may be there, don't forget the essential. Don't forget what you learned in your foundation periods and your exploration period. That's why I wanted to say that there are some things that you can bypass, but there are things that you cannot bypass. They are essential in your life. Foundation, exploration are essential to integrate successfully in your professional life. So let us come how liberal. Let's try to connect how liberal art degree is valuable in tech. In a digital world, you might think that only those with STEM degrees can succeed. That cannot be true anymore. I would say it's from my experience. It's not only me. There are so many friends around me have done the same parkour like me, switching from liberal arts studies and then they become IT professionals and so many other professionals. I mean, so many technical profession in France. So I'm not the only exception there. So I mean, if you have time, we can go through the statements of the people when they. I mean, my friends and colleagues who are given their statement also. How they are calm and everything, and we can share if we have time for this. So let us go again. How we can connect liberal arts with the technology. I've taken the example and the quotings from Matt Hiring, is the Chief Strategy and Innovation Officer of Vivint, the largest home automation company in North America. He says the technology is only one component of today's business model. Human behavior and human machine interface is very important. The future of tech isn't solely about designing a robot, it is about creating the human robot interaction, and that requires a different set of skills. These technologies will always need a human element. Artificial intelligence is never going to be completely autonomous. In the 70s and the 60s, we IT people, especially in the programming, we used to learn the machine languages in bytes, in zero and one. And today, the machines are learning our languages. So if you are, even if you are building a ordinary chatbot or a conversational user's interface, they give importance. What will be the tone of the interaction? What will be the question? How much the control do users want to have over these machines? So naturally, the managers who are going to hire, they are going to look for these kind of people, especially who are well versed in especially in liberal arts. Hiring of these emerging roles can be tricky because there is no curriculum degrees programmed for this currently. There are no school degrees currently programmed for these kind of jobs. So especially you liberal arts students, you got a lot. There are ground for you in the coming years. So how to say the degrees grounded in the arts rather than the science have just as much value when applied to a career in technology and impart valuable problem solving, communication, and critical thinking skills. So I don't say that it's only we liberal arts people we are going to play a bigger role, But even today, with whom I work, I say don't underestimate the technologies. The technology pros, they have all the ability to communicate effectively and negotiate conflicts. Don't say that we people who are coming from other domains can do these kind of things. It's not true. They have got a very, I mean, because their schools have trained them so well. So don't underestimate people from technology. They work so well in their teams, and they have gotten. I mean, they are so adaptable, and I mean for the changing needs for a dynamic market. So don't underestimate them. But at the same time, bear it in mind, we guys with soft skills like I mean, we have got skills in communication, empathy, teamwork, and negotiation, almost more important than technical skills, especially in the leadership or executive roles. Technologists who have these soft skills are better able to understand and accurately convey the business values of IT projects to others. So these are the assets of those who are majored in liberal arts. So let us see how we can go about. These are the things that I've taken, I mean, the quotes and everything that I've taken from a few people. So I'm going to give the references. I've listened to many YouTube strips and speeches of Donald Asher. Why Donald Asher? Because when I listened to his YouTube videos, I came across so many. I mean, he's giving so many ideas. Uh, Naturally, when I saw my life back, I accept with him because I myself I adapted the same techniques in my life when I went for interviews. I wanted to change my job from one technology to another. I mean, so I mean, I advise you if you have time, please go and check for Donald Asher's YouTube speeches, and he has written so many articles as well, and also books. How to get any job with any major, how to get a job, and all this stuff. Don't hesitate to find more about. I read only a few, but you can go and find a lot. And moreover, I read about. I listened to speeches of P.K. Agarwal. He has given many speeches because he's a CEO, and his domain is artificial intelligence. And I read also Sharon Florentine for our speeches and written matters over career development. Of course, Matt Eyring, I quoted in my presentation a few minutes back. So we can refer all these things. And there is, while searching for what are the possibilities for the liberal arts students to get a job in the job market, and while I was trying, I mean, I was just browsing, and I found that there are, from an unexpected sector, I found an ad. It was from FBI Liberal Arts, and it's a real ad, and it says candidates who have degrees in arts and communication fields lend their creative skills to remedy practical problem with FBI operations. And so they are searching for audiovisual skilled people with skill for photography, communication, graphic, and uh, physical, yeah, physical design, audiovisual communication for artistic technical training. I mean, especially for gathering in order to assist the efforts of special agents, audiovisual productions for footage, FBI footage, and for usual, I mean, to use multimedia editing and so many other things. And forensic photographers, uh, and I mean, with skills to with great, I mean, detailed photos for that will be used for investigations, and fingerprint photographers and visual information specialists, and especially public affairs specialists, because they need to make uh, clear communications, especially from if it is coming from the FBI. It has to be clear, And so it will be more at, I mean, those who are skilled with words, with you know, literary literary skill rather than technical skill. So here, I think I want to say that industry wants someone maybe who have liberal art degrees, but who has picked up some additional technology. That is completely important. When you're there, you have to take additional technology, because now the world is going more and more tech, and you need to be. I mean, you have to know how the things are working. Nowadays everyone is having their smartphone and so many tools, but even if you know how to handle these tools, but at least you should put some time to understand what's the technology behind. You to understand a little bit more, because I checked before coming. I just checked in Orange. There are around 331 types of professions in Orange, and I checked if there are anything. It has nothing to do with technology. I couldn't find any. Oh, especially, of course, especially doctors and nurses who are working for Orange, they are not supposed to know anything. I mean, much about technology. But all the other profession has something to do with technology, with IT or with multimedia. So you people, it's better to give more an adequate importance to know how things work behind, and give more. Give an additional importance to know more about the technology. So I think that this part of reference is over, and then I'm going to just go for presenting a little bit of my company. And this photo was taken before I leave my young colleagues, and most of them are really, really young. I was so much enthusiastically uh, I really enjoyed working with those people, because I love to work with youngsters, because they bring such a lot of information to us, and really adored that. That my last uh, profession, in the sense, the last years of in Orange. So all those who don't, who never heard of Orange before, it was France Telecom, and now it has become Orange under the logo of Orange. It provides, of course, it provides. It's a telecommunication operator, and then they provide services for residential, professional and large business customers, and it is implemented in all the 5 continents. And we are more than 152,000 employees. And just to say, it's a very nice company. I really enjoy working for Orange, and it received an Employer Global certification in 2018 as a best employer. And somebody has said that telecom network is essential for modern living in this emerging digitalized universe. And you know how important it was during this COVID confinements and everything. Here, I'm going to give a few statements that came from my colleagues. That is, I present Kwechi. Kwechi is my young colleague. She's from Ivory Coast, and she has sent a statement saying that she has given a big statement. If you have time, we can go through that later. She said foreign students are not discriminated against in the in telecom labor market. Sometimes, in the terms of benefit, they are offered wages slightly below the market. It is also the social network which is very important in France, like everywhere in the world. It allows to have access to certain offers, or to those which are recommended. So don't hesitate to cultivate a good network around you. And she says COVID-19 enabled us to see the importance of this telecom sector. She is an engineer, so she's from STEM. And let us see what says Pari Arpudam. Pariarpudam is also from Pondicherry, I think. Pondicherry. He says that I took an MA French in literature in Pondi, then a maîtrise d'anglais in France. Then I tried to pass CAPES, like me exactly, to become a professor, but changed my mind eventually. And I did an MA Masters in Asha. Asha is buying in Grenoble, and she is working now as a buyer in various companies. I worked as buyer in various companies and ended up in FTM, France Telecom Multimedia, which became Orange. So whatever you major in, that's not important. Whether you are doing very well, it is not going to. It's not going to be the indicator of your future career. All you have to learn is to promote the skills you have already. So let us see. I was talking for more than half an hour right now. So who can explain better than me? I don't know. Let us see. For that, I've picked up a small video strip, and Mr. Leo, who is our technical assistant, he can help us to pass this video.
You know what's the right direction. You know, ultimately it comes down to taste. It comes down to taste. It comes down to trying to expose yourself to the best things that humans have done, and then try to bring those things in to what you're doing. I mean, Picasso had a saying, he said, good artists copy, great artists steal. And we have, always been shameless about stealing great ideas. And I think part of what made the Macintosh great was that the people working on it were musicians and poets and artists and zoologists and historians who also happened to be the best computer scientists in the world. But if it hadn't been for computer science, these people would have all been, doing amazing things in life in other fields. And they brought with them, we all brought to this effort a very liberal arts sort of air, a very liberal arts attitude that we wanted to pull in the best that we saw in these other fields into this field. And I don't think you get that if you're very narrow.
So here, Magdalene, do you see me?
Yes.
Yeah, thank you. So let me go back to my PPT. I think I closed it by error. Do you see my PPT?
Yes, Mr.
Okay, that's good. So all I to say is wishing you all the best. And if you have questions, or if you want me to continue about this with the statements, Magdalene, I want you to tell me whether I continue with the statements from my colleagues, or shall we go for question and answers?
Let's hear some questions from our participants, Monsieur, and according to that, we will move on to the
Okay.
feedbacks given by our colleagues. So thank you for such a mind-opening session. Like talking about liberal arts is very much important in this technical or like digitalized world, I would say. So let's wait from the participants to ask some questions, or else we will just continue with the feedbacks given by our colleagues.
Okay.
So, Monsieur, as an art student, how do you feel getting transformed? Like, in arts we study so much, and then when we are getting converted or transforming our job nature, how you really see that, or can you share your experience on it?
My initial experience,
Yes, Mr.
as I said, that I started like a programmer, but that it helped me a lot. I mean, to see things more logically, because when I was very young, I mean, of course, when I was young, I was a dreamer. I was a late bloomer, so I was not that much uh, technically aware. But later, but if you have the logic to make a program, I mean, that it was a revelation for me. So I said that if I did all my studies in literature and suddenly if I can do programming, then there should be, I too have that, the dual talent to do some other thing instead of just, I mean, becoming a teacher. Of course, I'm not. Uh, I mean, I love teaching. At the same, I wanted to become a teacher. At the same time, it was like a two uh, desire. So finally, I opted for IT because it was on the vogue at the time. If I don't know whether if I have been in India, perhaps I would have become a teacher. But that it was, I mean, as I said, it was a game changer for me, and I really loved working in that environment. But if you say how I managed to go like this, it's nothing, After all, what I mean done, I mean, my parkour, it is nothing compared to so many other people. They have gone very far. But what I've done is a little distance, but that's it.
Thank you for your answer. So I see like some questions popping out here. So how would you connect? Yeah, there's a question.
There was,
As an art student, why students? You're not able to hear me?
yeah, now please go ahead.
Monsieur, the question is on the screen. Can you see the question?
Sorry, I'm not on the screen. I was just with my PPT. Sorry.
Okay, I can.
Very
That's
sorry. I
okay.
mean,
So
I'm
the
not
question
on the.
is,
Okay. Now I see the question. As an art student, why student does not prefer teaching profession? I don't know. I mean, it's you are a teacher. You can say, you can tell them more, because I never. I mean, from the day I mastered, I never taught in any school. So it depends. I don't know whether it's not attractive. I think this in India they have got a very big, I mean, respect for teachers. And now
yes,
into online teaching, even language teachers adapt technology. Of course, it is something. I mean, you cannot. It's unavoidable. It's incontournable, as I said.
so I would say like when if you're going to be a language teacher, using technology should not be hard because every day being a teacher we learn.
Of course, you learn everywhere. And, I work for more than 40 years here. I mean, you cannot live without learning. Learning is something so natural. In whatever may be the domain, you learn every day. You learn every day.
Exactly. So there are some more questions I see here. So can literature help in developing more and creating creative teaching modules for children and student alike? Like can literature help in developing more and creating creative teaching modules for children and
So
students
very
alike?
sorry. I mean, I didn't get the full question.
Actually, they are asking whether literature will help
Literature will help. Whether literature will help for creative.
creating something
Uh,
creative for children.
yeah, of course, literature is. if you see so many directors, artists, and even novelists, don't you see there is a creativity in them? How how intriguingly they are making things. That I mean, they are creating their characters, and they are moving those characters to a to the end, to their conclusion. They are creative. If you see them, cinema directors, you see they are more creative. Everyone is creative in their domain.
Sure. So there is one more question. So I guess you can see it.
In this current situation, every school are opening for online classes, even from lower classes. Why not? Why not? Why not? I don't know. You know, only COVID-19 has, forced in many places. They forced people to follow. I mean, schooling in or by online, but it was in vogue in so many other countries. For example, in Australia, the distance is so much. I mean, I heard some 20 years back, they were using only online classes because children cannot go to the school. It was online 20 years back in Australia. So, now, of course, technologically, we are so much advanced. We are in 4G. In 4G now, we are talking. I don't know. I'm sitting here in a small room in Paris. I mean, near Paris. You are you are in Coimbatore, and I don't know where Mr. Leo is. So and so many other people who are connected. It's I don't know whether the communication. There is no problem with the communication. Of course, with 3G we can do so many things, and in 5G it is going to be 100-fold faster, and there are going to be IoT, that's Internet of Things, and things are going so fast, and technology is there to help us. Why not? Why not?
Thank you, Monsieur. So the next question will be like in the post-COVID world, how much will the importance of data science will grow? So what do you think about the growth of data science after COVID? Data science,
Data scientist.
science.
Now there is. I mean, I think you cut the mic.
So there are some frequent questions who keep asking about how we can connect liberal arts with AI, artificial intelligence. What do you think about it, or what is your views on it?
I mean, I explained
Liberal arts connecting with artificial intelligence.
liberal arts and artificial intelligence. Um, I'm leaving my PPT
Yes.
with you, and what Matt Ehring has said is better you just have a look on that. He's explaining so clearly how it's going to be important for liberal arts students who can get integrated with the artificial intelligence in creating those technique. I mean, the robots and user interfaces. And you can read more on that. Of course, don't forget to see Mr. PK Agarwal as well. And now, yeah, I mean, what I said in the beginning, you have to go for retrieval of information. It's not only for in the profession, but in life, you have to go for retrieval of information and research information. Now things are so easy. You can just in one evening you can get so many information. Just spend 2 hours for how artificial intelligence is working. Then you will see.
Thank you. So
There is
there
another
is one more
question.
question on your screen, Mr. Can you answer it, please?
Can we say, after seeing such a situation, that virtual is new or real? Virtual is virtual, it's not real. And we can make it real for you with technology.
So okay,
How can a
there is
teacher
one
be
more
more
question.
effective while doing online classes to keep the attention, to grab the attention? Of course, while you're I mean, physically present, you try to do the thing. And of course, you have to be more attentive and more. there should be a more interaction. You cannot just come and give your lecture and go. You have to try to, perhaps you need to have a better camera, you cannot have just like that. You have to see face to face each student. Then you can, you ask the questions and see how they reply, how they react to that. All these things that when you are in classroom you see that, but with the same thing, with the help of the technology, you have to do the same thing, giving importance for each student. And that is a question. Thank you so much for this is an appreciation, wonderful session. How to develop ourselves for getting a job as a translator in the international organization companies. You have to search for it.
So how to improve the skills, like how to, develop the knowledge to become a translator, like vocabulary and sentence structures, etc.
There are special courses for that. There are special courses even in Sorbonne. When I want to do that, I could have continued like that, but finally, as I said, in Sorbonne, of course, even in India, similar courses must be existing. Not only in India or in France, whichever may be the country, even in Finland or in Denmark, you must be having all this thing. And sorry, I'm not reading at the same time. Literature field that's totally new for me and made me think more on this topic, making me come to this program. Oh, okay. Thank you. Is there any other questions? If you have a little more time, or we can go for them.
There is a
Because I
question
got.
on the screen,
Oh,
Monsieur. So what is
is
the
the
easy
easy
way to learn French without
without
any
any?
scary?
You just cancel the scaring. That's it. Liberal arts focus on citizens devoted to service and education. Why? Why you have to be dedicated? You simply have to be interested.
So thank you for all the questions asked by the one more question we have here.
Do you think that we shrink the syllabus? It may affect the children's intelligence. The syllabus, they are not shrinking. They think that the children are smart enough to grasp more things, because if I'm going to even my daughter, if I say something more, a few words or more, she says no, I understood, because there's so they have to shrink. They have to be more abridged in their explanation, because children are more smarter than we were. Okay, how hard was it for you to develop skills in literature, sir? Um, Read, learn. Nowadays, it's not difficult. Before we have to go to the library. That library is in your palm. You can do whatever. You can get whatever you want. You read. That's it. Now the technology has brought you everything to your palm. What technology course one should do at a starting point? I think Miss Magdalene would give a better answer than me.
I would, what technology course one should do as starting point? So there is a lot of various courses offered by MOOC or Coursera. So we have to do what we like, because even doing an online course, we should have passion towards it, or else we cannot study anything. I firmly believe that.
I completely agree with you.
So again, the same question on the screen. So
I got more things. We got only 5 minutes. I got a little more things because, in the PPT, I put so many information just that can be of use to students who are coming to France, or who want to continue the studies, who want to have a scholarship in
yes,
France. So many other things. I'll just go through that very quickly if you want.
Yeah, sure, Monsieur. We can go ahead with that.
Okay. Pop up. Do you see my PPT?
Yes, your PPT is visible.
You see my PPT. Good.
Yes,
Okay.
Monsieur. Yes.
Okay. We saw that the statement from Kochi, and then there is another statement from my friend, from colleague. He's also an engineer, yes, STEM student. So he has given a very nice insight. He says, you know, I mean, because we worked in 4G environment and now they are going to 5G, and he's an architect too, and he says, I mean, that the speed that we are going, I think that working on network, network, mobile network is not going to be further, because with that already 4G, it was a long-term evolution, and 5G is furthermore. And so we have to get adapted and go towards IT and new services. You say that we have to move from radio, that's from a mobile network, towards IT for other services. And Pari Arpudam I saw, and that is another colleague. He is also from Pondicherry. So I just wanted to pick up some, examples from India. So Rajesh Rangarajalu is from Pondi, and he is in IT Orange. He says, I did economics at Sorbonne, entered as a statistician, had positioned in IT field, and now working in the marketing field. And another friend of mine is Vivek Dayal. He is from New Delhi. He did his MBA. He did his, MSc, and so many other things. Being an Indian, he had a lot of problems because it was late in the in 2000, the year 2000. So he spent a much more. We say, who have done IT, MSc, MBA, it's a royal path. I told him, no, I'm not going to take your statement because you have followed a royal path. He came back with me saying all these things. No, it wasn't a royal path for me. I went through these hardships because I didn't have the nationality. I couldn't speak French. I had so much difficulty. So if you have time, just had a look, because, and he says now things are getting better. From 2019, there was an accord between France and India, and there was equivalence was accorded for all the higher education, right from the baccalaureate, licence, masters, and doctorate. So they are giving India and France. They are giving equally, mutually. They are giving equivalences for these diplomas. And finally, it's from Gautam. Gautam Kitri is my son who's working in merger and acquisition. Here, I wanted to have a fresh information. So he is relating how French education system is. I would say that you better take some time to read these things. And studying in France, what are the possibilities? And he says that now they are giving more and more students, not only from other parts of the world and from India. And he says that students from India, the number of students from India are surpassing the students from Senegal. Senegal is an old French colony, so naturally there'll be more Senegalese in France. So he says that Indian students are going to be, go beyond the number of students coming from Senegal. And he's also given, according to the I mean a very recent announcement from the government. They say that they are going to increase the number of student visa from 320,000 to 500,000. And he has also given the website where you can go to find how to get the information, how do you contact the universities directly through LinkedIn and emails. And for the for to get the visa, what are the formalities and all those things. So don't forget to go, and Magdalene, if you want, for those who are asking for this information,
Yes.
don't hesitate to share. And that's it. I think I've finished.
Sure,
If you
Monsieur.
have more questions, I can take them, or uh, it's time to conclude, I think.
So actually, like, I would say we are running out of time, actually 1 hour. So now I would like to invite or welcome Madame Valvani, who will be our next speaker.
Bonjour, bonjour Monsieur Kittery, enchanté.
Enchanté, bonjour.
Hi everyone. Well, that was a great webinar. It really was. I think you gave amazing information to all the students. Let me introduce myself quickly. My name is Véronique Courtois. I'm joining you today from the southern French city called Perpignan, which is near the Spanish border. I invite you to attend the webinar I'll be presenting next week, entitled Studying French in India, a booming personal and professional choice. Please note that I will be presenting it in French. So if you're already studying French or are considering starting French, please come and join me for an exciting discussion. And I think, in a way, your webinar, Monsieur Kittery, was a great introduction to what I'm going to be saying, because I think you are the success, you are the result, pretty much, of what started in India. Now you're in France, you're an amazing professional. And I think I think there's no other better time, I think, for Indian students to be learning French. And by the way, in case maybe some of them, some of the students didn't catch the un jeu d'enfant, when you use that, it just basically means it's a breeze or it's a piece of cake. So it'll be my pleasure to address all of the students interested on June 7th. And merci beaucoup. Et if you ever come to Perpignan, let me know. Merci. Au revoir, Magdalene. Merci beaucoup. À la semaine prochaine.
Merci, Madame.
Merci.
So now I would like to thank our speaker, Mr. Alexis Kittery, for such a wonderful session. He shared all the inputs about liberal arts and connecting with technology. I would surely say liberal arts will be the secret to have a success in this digitalized world. The value of an education in a liberal arts college is not the learning of many facts, but training the mind to think something that cannot be learned from textbooks. It was said by Albert Einstein. So I take this opportunity to thank my management who gave us this platform to talk about liberal arts and technology, and our technical team, Mr. Leo and the Viscom department. So again, I say a special gratitude of thanks to to Mr. Alexis Kittery for joining us on this session. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, students and teachers.
So the feedback forms, it's done.